Today is September 20th, 2016. I am interviewing Alex Barna. Mr. Barna is 86 years of age and was born on May 29th, 1930. I am Chuck Jennings, the interviewer. Mr. Barna, what branch of service were you in?
U.S. Army.
And what was the highest rank you achieved?
Corporal.
And where did you serve?
I started out basic training in the United States and went over to Japan and then to Korea.
Before we get started in that, let's start back. Where did you go to school at? High school, sorry.
It's a little farm community west of Warren, Ohio, named Howland Township.
And did you graduate high school?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do? Did you have any interest or athletic interest in high school?
I liked athletics, but during the war they discontinued all the athletic programs, so we didn't have any when I went.
So, once you completed high school, did you find work? Were you looking for work?
Well, when I graduated, we were in a recession and work was very scarce, so I went to a one-year drafting school.
And what did you take up in the way of drafting? There's several different kinds of drafting.
Industrial arts type of drafting.
And did you complete that course?
Yes, I did. But when I got out, it was still pretty hard to find a job, and I finally found a job not in drafting, but in assembly work of motors at the Packard Electric.
So, when you say assembly and motors, did you put the brushes on? Did you put, exactly what did you do?
Well, my job was to repair any motors that didn't work after they come off the assembly line. But at times I used to have to fill in on the assembly line and put in the stators and things that were needed for the motor.
Now, this was what, 1949 roughly?
Let's see, 50.
50?
50, yeah.
Then in the summer, the North Koreans tried to invade South Korea. Do you remember anything about that in the news or in the headlines? Or?
Yes, I did. It was all over the papers, so we knew about it very early when it happened.
So, did you run down to enlist, or did you think we were going to be involved in it, or what was going on in your mind at the time?
Well, at the time I didn't run right down. My buddy and I, we waited. It was maybe 4 or 5 months after it started that we went down to enlist.
Now, you went to Cleveland, was it? Or where did you go to enlist?
Warren, Ohio.
Warren, Ohio. Now, from Warren, after you swore in at your oath and took a physical, did you take any written tests at that time?
Well, I didn't. I mean, although I enlisted, I didn't go in as an enlistee because I had an accident and I couldn't go. And I waited for the draft. And the following year in March, I was drafted. And well, I still couldn't. My leg was pretty well racked up, so they gave me a 6 months extension till June. So I actually went in on June, had to go to Cleveland and take another physical, and we had written tests.
Now, at that time, did you get to find out the outcome of your written test, or it was all secret till you hit boot camp?
No, I didn't know anything about how I rated until I got to the induction center at Fort Meade in, I think it's Fort Meade,
Maryland.
Virginia.
Maryland.
Maryland, yeah, Fort Meade, Maryland.
Now, when you got to, you took a train down, I take it?
Yeah.
So when you arrived, you went to the base, you checked in. Now, was there a sergeant there to greet you, or what went on at the time when you got there?
I guess it was a sergeant. I don't know what rank he held, but he met us at the train station and got on buses and went to Fort Meade. And that's where we were assigned to where we were going to go.
They didn't impress upon you the importance of being a soldier at that time when you got on the bus or off the bus?
Not really that I can remember.
So you went in, did you exchange your clothes and package them up at that time, or what went on next?
I think we were handed our essentials, like the fatigues and our dress uniform. And then we were loaded up on buses and went to Indiantown Gap, Pennsylvania I was assigned to an infantry training outfit.
Now, when you got assigned to, did you have any, at Fort Meade, did you not have any basic at all?
No.
No. So you were assigned, training out. Okay, so when you got to Indiantown Gap, what went on there?
Well, we first had to get the barracks in order because we were the first group in since the Second World War to use them. So they were in pretty shoddy. We had to wash out, have GI party, scrub the floors. And then the next day we got more of our uniforms and shoes and stuff like that.
Now, as you went on getting your barracks ready, did you have to take classes at that time, or about the Army, or any courses at that time training you about the infantry, or you just basically did field days?
No, we didn't have any training or no schooling. We just went right into our training.
And what was your training?
Well, I can't remember what the first initial training was. I think it was zeroing in our M1s and getting familiar with the various weapons that we would be using.
And did you go over a grenade course or
Yes.
throwing grenades? What were you thinking when you handed a live grenade?
Pretty nervous. Make sure you got rid of it and tucked down.
So, what were some of the other experiences that you recall during that time in Indiantown Gap?
Well, as I said, my leg was not in too good a condition. I still couldn't bend it more than 90-some degrees. And I remember on a rifle range where you had to get your left knee under you when you were shooting, and mine couldn't get under me, so the sergeant come along and seen my leg sticking out, and he'd give it a kick. He says, "Get that leg under you." Well, he'd probably seen me turn white because it was real painful when he kicked it. He asked me what's wrong. I explained. He says, "Well, make sure you go to the medics in the morning and get it evaluated."
And the next morning?
Next morning, I went to, first question the doctor asked me was, "You want to get out of the Army, don't you?" I says, "Nope." And he says, "Why'd you come in?" And I told him about my leg, and he examined it and everything, and All he just said was, well, just go back to what you were doing, and what do you call it, when you just take it for whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So I went through the basic training okay.
Now, once you completed your basic training, did you get the chance to come home, or did you go right to an A school?
No, we got a week's furlough, delay in, what they call it, delay in transportation or something like that.
Now, when you came home, what went on that week for you?
Well, I just went around going to bars and just having fun, because all my buddies were in. I didn't have really any close friends. So I had to pretty much be a loner.
So you get some of your mom's homemade cooking? And
Oh yeah, a lot of good old cooking.
so you had your packet with you. So you boarded a train, or did you fly out to the West Coast?
Now I boarded a train in Warren, Ohio, and then we went to Chicago area train station where all the troops, I met up with all the troops that were going, and we more or less had a going in as a group. I left Warren as just a single soldier, and
They consolidated the group of men in Chicago.
Right. Yeah.
So, what school were you going to?
I wasn't going to any school there. I was just going to Fort Lawton to embark overseas.
Oh, okay. So you headed out to the West Coast of Fort Barton. On the way out, was it a Pullman car? What were some of your experience on board the train?
It was just a regular train. I mean, we didn't have any bunks. We had to sleep in our seats, and they had a special dining car for us that we got our meals and stood up and ate them. We didn't have any luxury.
So it was a troop train, basically.
It was. They had civilians on it, but the section of it was a troop.
Now, when you stopped at some of the stops along the way, did military police get off and guard the train, or?
I didn't see any military police at all.
Okay. No, I was just saying, did you get a chance to get off the train
No.
and go? It just didn't stop, or?
It stopped we were secondary. They called, we were told we were secondary train. And when we met another train, and if anybody had to pull off in a siding, it'd be us. And the only stop that we made, I don't know why they even stopped in Colorado, Denver. I mean, nobody was allowed to get off. No soldier was allowed to get off. We had to stay on the train till we hit Fort Lawton, Washington.
So you made it up over the mountains. On your way over, did you enjoy some of the scenery in Colorado, or on your way?
Trains usually take the worst routes. Not much scenery to see, actually. I think we went through Colorado in the nighttime, so we didn't see much.
So you got to Fort Lawton, and you offloaded and took a truck to the base?
Yeah, yes.
And so how long were you in barracks there before you boarded ship?
Well, I was only supposed to be there about 3 or 4 days. But as we were in formation, the sergeant come out and asked for a volunteer to type up some passes if we wanted soldiers to go out, and we were allowed to have passes. So nobody was volunteering, but I had typing in school, so I says, okay, I'll do it, expecting to get a shovel handed to me, because anytime they say never volunteer. But he looked at me, he says, pick up your duffel bag and come and put it in barracks such and such. He said he wouldn't be leaving with this group. And I says, oh, I want to go with my buddy. He says, who's your buddy? And I told him, and he called him out also. Put your bag with his, and you won't be leaving with this group. So they left. The regular group stayed there about 3 or 4 days, and we stayed there about 3 weeks. And just I was doing the orderly room work, and my buddy was taking people to either the ship to get on or to Vancouver, Canada, to fly out. So we had it made for 3 weeks. We had free passes every night, use of the mess hall at night when we used to go in and come in about midnight, go over there and get something to eat and go to bed.
So, at some point, the good life ended. How did that come about?
Well, it was our time to leave, and we were boarded on an airplane, and we flew. We were supposed to have a straight flight into Japan, but somewhere between Canada and Okinawa, we started throwing oil off of one of our engines, and we had to make an emergency landing at Okinawa. We were there one day.
Now, roughly, what year was this? 51?
51. November of 51.
November 51. So, I'm sorry, you spent a day finding an oil leak on your aircraft.
Right, we had to repair the aircraft, and then we took off and landed in Tokyo, Japan.
Now, once you landed there, was there a base that you went to, or what happened from that
Yes,
point?
there was a base where everybody coming in had to go through, and I can't remember the name of it. It was just outside of Tokyo, and that's where we were assigned to what we were going to do in the Army.
Now, what did they figure that you'd be excellent at?
Of all things, a radio operator. They told me I had a good mark on my entrance exam, because they gave you dits and dashes, and then 10 minutes later they would ask you what they were, and it seemed like I had a good memory back then. And they said I'd be going to Ida-jima, not Iwo, but Ida, E-T-A. It was a little island off of the mainland of Japan. This was used as the Japanese Naval Academy, like our Annapolis, and they had all the schooling and stuff in that building.
So, how long, just briefly, what did they teach you? How to repair it? In and out method? What did they teach you at school?
They taught us the operating procedures of operating the various types of radios. Plus, they taught us the Morse code, and they taught us how to code and decode messages.
Now, roughly how long were you there?
14 weeks. This same course was given at Fort Monmouth for a year. That's a year course at Fort Monmouth. We had to learn all this in 14 weeks.
So, this would put you in just about the end of 40 or 51?
Early 52.
Yeah. So, at that point, you went over to Busan, or where did you land at?
We took the Japanese cruise ship, as they call it. We landed at Busan, and we embarked at Busan. And then we were put on trains and sent up to our frontline division.
It wasn't just quite an ordinary train, was it? It was a little bit different.
Yeah,
Could you give a description of it?
I was expecting John Wayne to come in with his guns. If you ever seen a Western movie, that was the train. Wood seats, rolling, windows up and down. Very, very ancient.
And a bit dirty from the coal engine.
Right. We'd go through, I don't know how many tunnels we had to go through, but it took us, I think, two nights and a day or something to get to where we were going into our division we were going to be assigned to.
Now, what division at that point were you assigned to?
The 7th Infantry Division.
And your battalion?
I had the 7th Infantry Radio Company.
So you were at a headquarters unit, basically?
No.
No?
No. We were out in regiments. We were spread out.
I'm sorry, then which regiment?
I was with the 32nd Regiment, I think, yeah, of the 7th Infantry Division.
And your company was?
We didn't have any, we just had the radio. We were not attached to that. We were there just as a support with a radio. I mean, we were still in the radio company.
Okay. So, what was the purpose of your unit? I mean, of course, to dispatch. I mean, were you dispatching things to battalion, or from battalion down to regiment, or I'm sorry, from the division to the regiment to the company? Where did your radio company fit in all that?
Well, we would, any messages coming in, we give them to the regiment commander, and some just went directly to our company. And it's mostly, I mean, we took down, every day we'd have the weather report. Several times a day we'd get an update on the weather reports and any needed messages that had to be given to the regiments.
Now, the 7th Infantry, where were they? Were they on the east side?
On the east side.
Yeah.
From the middle to the east. We were several, can't remember all the places, but we were up above the 38th parallel on the east side.
Now, at some point, there was a seesaw battle between all this. That was Heartbreak Ridge, Pork Chop Hill. There were numerous battles during that period of time in 52. Was your radio company involved in dispatches between all this stuff?
No, we were just from regiment to regiment. We weren't involved in the company levels or things like that with the actual troops doing the fighting.
Now, did you, I'm calling them watches because I was in the Navy. How long was your duty time? Was it every 8 hours, 12 hours?
We had a 3-man crew and we had 8-hour shifts. We had a 3/4 ton truck with a makeshift canopy over it, or whatever you want to call it, out of plywood. And that's where all our radio equipment was on the 3/4 ton truck. And we had a 3-man tent that we set up beside it. And we'd have 8-hour shifts.
Now, your antenna, was it attached to the truck and you grounded it out, or was it very high antenna?
We had a whip antenna on the truck. It's just a whip antenna.
So, you were there during the colder months of Korea.
It was cold then. I was there winter and summer.
Now, can you describe what it was living in a tent in a mummy bag trying to keep warm?
Well, we had a little gasoline heater in there. It kept us comfortable. And of course, we had sleeping bags. But as long as we had the heater going, it wasn't bad.
Now, because you were close to Hickory, how was the food? I mean, where did you get your food? Did the mess truck come up?
Regular mess, Army mess we had. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it wasn't such good.
Can you describe the bread, the Army bread? Was it hard? No?
No, it was like regular.
Because I've talked to some veterans, they say you could throw that bread down and it would bounce.
I never experienced that. Maybe I don't remember, but I don't.
Now, so were they like K rations just reheated, or were they actual meals?
No, they were actually actual meals at regiment level. In our company, we had actual meals.
Now, this went on, did you ever have to bug out any time, or?
No, I was lucky. We had pretty stationary lines when I was there.
Now, at some point towards your end of your tour, you had an opportunity to do some flying. Could you go into that story a little bit?
Yeah, well, I was with the 7th Air Recon. They had like Piper Cub planes, two-seaters. And I didn't go up much. I only went up once or twice because I was manning the radio most of the time. And fly over the enemy lines to locate artillery positions and call in fire on them, artillery fire on them. And the one time I remember very good is I was ready to be rotated home. The night before, the day before I went up, the captain of one of the pilots said he was going to go up on a night flight. Does anybody want to go with him? So my last day there, I says, I'll go. So we went up, and the pilot I went up with, he was like, I don't know, one of the movie stars, Hank, whatever his name was. But I mean, he was a daredevil. He used to, when he thought he seen a gun emplacement, he would dive toward it and then pull out. And as we pulled out, they would send their rockets up and we'd get their position and call in fire. So,
Did he do that with you that night?
what's that?
Did he do that with you that night?
Yes, he did. And one of the rockets, I could have swore if I put my hand out, I could have touched it. And then I kept thinking all the time, you dummy, you know, when you go to a movie and a pilot has one more flight to go before he's rotated home, that's where he usually gets it. But we come back home unharmed.
Now, when you landed in the next morning or next couple of days, did they just gather that group up that came at the same time and said, okay, you're taking a boat home, or how'd that come about?
No, we were all, it's not like it is now where you go as a group and come back as a group. We went as individuals everywhere. We never went as a group. So my time was up and I was just told that I got to get on a truck, and we went to Incheon, where we got on barges and come home. I mean, it was all individual. There was never a big group at one time.
Now, on your trip home, you didn't get to fly this time.
No.
So you took a troop ship, or was it?
Troop ship. It was a one-stacker General. It was a small ship. It wasn't a very large one.
Now, of course, it had, you know, four racks high, and were you below decks, or?
We were below decks, sleeping in hammocks. And since I was only a corporal, they put me on KP duty down in the galley. That's where my stomach started to turn, because we were on the tail end of a typhoon and we were bouncing like a cork.
Now, when you say, because there's different forms of KP, there's pans, there's cooking, what did you do during your KP period?
I was a server. I brought the food out to the people. You had to stand up like at a bar. It was just a big, long bar, and you stood up and make sure you held onto your plate or you'd be eating the next guy's plate. But I started getting queasy, and I told the head cook I got to go up on deck. So I went up on deck and passed. I didn't get sick, but it went away when I got up on deck.
Got out of the close surroundings.
Yeah.
How long were you in KP? Week? Or the
No.
entire trip?
I was only there a matter of not even an hour, because after my original, they never called me back on KP again.
So what was life down below decks on the trip back over in rough seas?
Well, it put me to sleep.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, the hammock just swung back and forth, and it just put me to sleep.
No one was getting sick below decks?
Oh, there was a few people that lost some of their meals.
And the heads weren't shooting geysers out of, with the water as you went in the swells? No?
No, I
No.
didn't see any of that. Of course, during the heavy start, they wouldn't allow us up on deck.
No, I mean, when I say they had bathrooms,
Oh.
when you went down in the swells, the toilets had a tendency to shoot up geysers.
I never experienced that. Maybe I wasn't in there at the right time.
Lucky you. So you made your crossing, and you came back to Washington State. And what transpired at that time?
Well, we all got on planes, and they flew us to Fort Carson, Michigan.
There's a Fort Carson. I don't recall. It's on the west somewhere. I don't recall.
I think it was Fort Carson, Michigan. That's where we got our discharges. We landed over near there.
And then you took a train home from there, or
No, my buddy and I, we hitchhiked from Carson down to, I think it was Lansing. I can't remember the name, but yeah, to a bus station. We hitchhiked. We got a ride pretty fast, and the guy took us to the bus station. We got on a bus and took a bus straight to Cleveland, Ohio.
Now, once you arrived there, what transpired? Did you then went down to Warren? Did you stay in Cleveland? Did you find a job?
From Cleveland, I got off the bus and got on another bus to Warren. And I got home about 3:30 in the morning.
Was Mom happy to see you?
Oh, yeah.
Dad happy to see you? Pretty intense time. So once you got settled back in, did you, because you had like 6 months of like unemployment, we'll call it, or did you go right to work?
I took off about a week before I went back to my old job.
And during that week, what did you do? Just chilled, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Just made up for lost time and getting ready to go to college.
Now, you went back to your old job. They accepted you right back in
Yes.
because you had your military service.
Right.
What, how long did you stay with them?
Well, let's see, I got home in April of '53, and I probably stayed until I think about August. That's when I was going to start college. Then I took another leave of absence with them.
Now, did you use the GI Bill?
Yes, I did.
Now, what did you take during your college?
Civil engineering.
Did you graduate in civil engineering?
Yes, I did.
Now, once coming out, did you go back to that previous job, or did you find another job?
Well, when I got out of college, lucky me, I got right into another deep recession. So I was out of work from, I graduated in January. I was out of work from January to August before I found anybody that, I went to work for the Army Corps of Engineers in Pittsburgh.
Now, during that period of time, when did you get married? Is that during that period of time or after that?
It was after that. I got married on the 29th of August, 1959.
So you worked at the Corps of Engineers. So you would work on dams. What did you do in that particular job?
I designed reservoirs, and locks and dams, and improved water flow in streams to try to prevent flooding and all things of that nature. I did that for most of the time, other than about the last 10 years of my employment, at which time I inherited all the 16 reservoirs in the Pittsburgh area. I've run and operated all the 16 reservoirs for about 10, 12 years before I retired.
Now, out of your reunion with your wife, did you have any children?
I have two girls and one boy.
And is there any grandkids?
Six grandkids and three great grandchildren.
Well, at this time, I'd like to thank you for your service to the nation. It's traumatic leaving home at a young age, going to a war zone, and coming back. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.